Hi students, today's class is about early childhood caries, commonly called as ECC. So this is an important essay question and a few important Viva questions are also there in this chapter. So I will be discussing about those things in this PPT. So on seeing this picture, you will be thinking the situation of the child is very pathetic. But this is not an act of God. This is the negligence on the part of the parents. Sometimes it can be negligence, and some cases it can be even ignorance of the parents leading to this condition. Finally, whatever it might be, the outcome will be very pathetic and the child's quality of life will be affected. So, might have heard so many terms like nursing caries, baby bottle tooth decay, but this early childhood caries is the most recent. I can't say this as recent, but it is a development of nomenclature for a particular pattern of caries in young children. So, coming to the definition part of ECC, which is commonly asked in Viva, this question actually early childhood caries, it is asked as an essay question and sometimes not as a sometimes as a you might be get it as a 4 marks question also, and in Viva you will you will be asked about the types of ECC, what is the treatment plan for ECC. So questions are there regarding ECC in Viva, and it's an important essay question. And being a pediatric, I mean, being a pediatric dentist, we as a pediatric dentist, but you being dentist, you should know that term called ECC exists and what is the exact scenario in which you can use this term. So in order to understand all those things, you need to focus on the definition part of ECC, which has been proposed by American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry. So AAPD defines ECC as the presence of one or more decayed, missing or failed tooth surfaces in any primary tooth in a child 71 months of age or younger. So I'm not particular about the definition part, but the meaning or the essence of definition is definitely important. So in this, the important terms that you need to remember are definitely it can be the presence of one or more decayed, missing or filled tooth surfaces in any primary teeth in a child 71 months of age or younger. So 71 months of age is very important. So 71 months means it comes around 6 years, actually 12 into 6, 72. So below 6-year child, if he is experiencing either one or more decayed surfaces or missing surfaces or even filled surfaces, then he or she can be diagnosed as having ECC or early childhood caries. The causative factors involved in this are not new or something unique, but this ECC is same as general dental caries. The causative factors and mechanism involved in this ECC are same as other types of dental caries. But it is important because it will be having a lasting detrimental impact on the dentition. That's why it's very important. So children experiencing this caries as infants or even toddlers have a much greater probability of subsequent caries in their primary dentition and even permanent dentition. And infants with ECC, definitely they grow at a slow pace when compared to caries free infants. This is a very important thing. And some children may be severely underweight because of the associated pain and difficulty in eating food. So these are the associated factors which play an important role in the quality of life of a child. And caries, definitely this ECC being affecting the quality of life, it's very important to treat this kind of caries. Coming to the etiology of ECC, definitely it is like a normal caries. So the etiological factors involved in ECC will be the same, that is cariogenic microorganisms, cariogenic substrate and susceptible tooth or the host factor. So microbial factor, dietary factor and the host factor, all these combined together will lead to the formation of any caries lesion and hence even ECC. So here the colonization of mutant streptococcus is the same, and there will be microbiological shift leading to low pH and leading to demineralization of the tooth structure. So the main microorganisms implicated in the caries are the Streptococcus mutans and Sobrinus. They come under actually mutant Streptococcus is the term that includes many species of Streptococcus. This I have covered already, and I will be covering in this PPT also. And these pathogens colonize the tooth surface and produce acids at a faster pace when compared to other bacteria, and the capacity of neutralization will be slow, and the capacity of the acid production by these bacteria will be fast. This leads to very low pH, and the pH comes below the critical level, that is 5.5, which is considered as a critical pH, and the pH in the oral atmosphere will come below this critical pH, leading to the destruction of tooth enamel. Major reservoirs of mutant streptococcus is the oral cavity, and infant infection depends on the level of maternal infection or other person in close contact with him or her. So this vertical transmission and even horizontal transmission is also possible from daycare centers or within the family, but main mode of transmission will be from the mother or the caretaker, and these bacteria need non-desquamative surfaces to colonize, and hence their number increases with the number of erupted teeth and with age automatically. This is considered as actually the first period of infection is considered as a window of infectivity, which I will be dealing later. And the risk factors considered for ECC, there are so many risk factors which are considered for ECC, and the main risk factors that you need to remember or the early colonization of mutant streptococcus, lack of oral hygiene routine, sugars in drinks, milk at bedtime or nap time, high frequency of sugar consumption, nursing bottles, pacifiers, sucking habits, low salivary flow rate, newly erupted immature teeth, immature specific and non-specific defense systems, high prevalence of hypoplastic defects in primary dentition, medical conditions, parental education, socioeconomic status, and even siblings will play a role in transmitting this disease. And I have told you that the Streptococcus mutans and Streptococcus sobrinus are few species that are considered under mutant streptococcus. So you might be in few textbooks, by reading textbooks, you might have come across or you might be coming across word mutant streptococci, and most of the students they will be thinking that mutant streptococcus is same as streptococcus mutans, but this textbook people have committed a mistake and they have printed mutants in starting. But it's not like that. Mutant streptococci is actually a group of bacteria. So, mutant streptococcus consists of 7 species of streptococcus, that is Streptococcus mutans, Streptococcus sobrinus, Streptococcus chrysotic, Streptococcus ferus, mageti, rati, and doni. So, these are the different species of streptococcus that are grouped under mutant streptococcus. Next, coming to the window of infectivity. Window of infectivity, this is a specific period actually during which the primary teeth emerge and they are more susceptible for the caries. This will be around 7 to 24 months of age, and by 24 months actually all the primary teeth will be present. And this 7 to 24 months where the teeth will be erupting, this period is considered as window of infectivity, because mutant streptococcus are poor colonizers in comparison to the other bacteria, and hence this window of infectivity relies on the newly emerged virgin tooth to gain its an initial colonization. And the second period will be there when the permanent teeth start erupting. That will be around 6 years of age when the first permanent tooth enters into the oral cavity. But the source may be from reservoirs established in the primary dentition. So the first period of infectivity is a very crucial period. Actually, it will be around 7 to 24 months where all the primary teeth will start one by one. The teeth will be erupting into the oral cavity. And Time for colonization in infants varies depending on so many factors like environmental factors, diet, level of exposure from other infected individuals, and even the tooth composition plays an important role. And mutant streptococci readily colonize on hypoplastic teeth because of the surface roughness. And the source of mutant streptococci is usually, but not always, from the mother. Let's go into the stages of ECC, but before going into the stages of ECC, let's see certain clinical features of ECC. ECC develops as soon as the teeth erupt. It can develop actually. It can develop as soon as the teeth erupt into the oral cavity. And typically it presents in children as white lines or spots on the maxillary incisors, which are among the first teeth to erupt and least protected by the saliva. And these white spots or lines are usually seen along the gum line, and there will be rapid breakdown into yellow-brown cavities if they are left untreated. So the caries progression from decalcification of upper primary incisors to primary molars and canines if it is not controlled. So while four upper incisors are the most severely affected by ECC, lower incisors remain intact because of the protection by the tongue and even moisture by the saliva, as they are frequently moistened by the saliva from the submandibular salivary glands. The distribution of ECC follows a sequence of eruption. If left untreated, the decay of maxillary incisors eventually continues to the extent that the crowns are weakened and fractured. Hence, most of the parents, they will be thinking as if the teeth are defective from the time they have erupted into the oral cavity. And let's see the stages of ECC. The stages of ECC, they can be staged into four stages actually: very mild, moderate, and severe. And first one is a very mild case where there will be clinical appearance actually shows slight demineralization usually at the gingival crust, and there will be no cavitation. And the second stage will be mild stage where the clinical appearance shows demineralization in gingival third of the tooth, and there will be moderate cavitation as shown in the pics. In moderate case, the clinical appearance shows frank cavitation on multiple tooth surfaces. The last stage, that is a severe stage where the clinical appearance consists of widespread destruction of the tooth and partial to complete loss of clinical crown. The management of ECC. So let's see this management of ECC in stage wise only. That is very mild cases, how you need to manage mild cases, and what you need to do when it is a moderate or severe case of ECC. So first let's see very mild cases. So these very mild cases here, the importance of educating the parents is important. So the parents need to be given information regarding this clinical appearance of these white spot lesions and the role of plaque in the demineralization of tooth surfaces. The possibility of developing full-blown ECC if appropriate preventive measures are not taken should also be put forward to the parents. The consequences of severe ECC should be explained, and even sometimes the possibility of intervention in hospital-based under general anesthesia should also be explained to the parent. So counseling regarding diet, oral hygiene measures, fluoride adequacy, and need for frequent recall to monitor the progress of ECC should be explained to the parents. Coming to the mild cases, they might need intervention of the caries vision by the dentist, but the problem comes here is the child might be less than 3 years or 3.5 years, where they will be too young to cooperate for the dental procedures in a dental chair, and most of the children at this age even might not be in a situation to tolerate the high speed aerators. So here comes the behavioral issues which might lead to treatment of these children under general anesthesia. But the main problem in developing countries like India is that most of the parents here, some parents, they might be because of ignorance, they might be neglecting, and few parents, they might have noticed the problem and they might have approached the dentist at this stage of ECC, but they might they they might be given or advised against any treatment, stating that they are just milk teeth and they will be replaced, so no need to treat these children. So most of the parents will be misguided by the dentist at this stage. Unfortunately, these children will be left untreated, and as they have been neglected, or because of this ignorance of a dentist part also, they will be left untreated, and they will not be referred to the right sources for the treatment. So this is about the mild case of ECC. And coming to the moderate and severe cases of ECC, here the child with multiple decayed teeth will be there, and you with as it is a deep carious lesions on posteriors, they might be needing multiple appointments and many local anesthetic injections to carry out the whole pulpectomies and stainless steel in regular dental settings. So again, the problem of behavior of a child might be a barrier for the treatment under regular conditions, and most of the children, they might need pharmacological intervention, but definitely the risks and benefits should be weighed whenever you are opting for general anesthesia or any pharmacological management. And treatment depends on the extent of decay, number of teeth involved, age of the child, risk of parental attitude, cost, and availability of specialists. Coming to the preventive measures, so always prevention is better than cure in these conditions. So preventive measures, they can be classified as community-based measures, professional measures, and home care methods. The community-based measures are methods like community water fluoridation, school water fluoridation, education programs organized at a community level. Whereas these professional measures or steps taken by the dentist at the dental office to prevent this ECC. And home care methods are very important in this ECC. These are the things that the parents have to take care of regarding diet, feeding practices, and even oral hygiene measures. And one additional point is mothers can be educated about the intake use of xylitol containing chewing gums after the baby is born. This is for mothers, not for kids, because they will prevent the transmission of mutant streptococcus from mothers with high counts of mutant streptococcus. And the fluoride paste is again very important because it is regularly in on day-to-day daily basis they will be using this fluoride toothpaste. So parents should be educated about the importance of fluoridated dentifrice, and they have to be instructed that they have to start brushing the child's teeth from 1 to 1.5 years, or actually they have to start brushing by the as soon as the first tooth erupts into the oral cavity, but they can start using this fluoridated dentifrice from 1 year or 1.5 year of age. They can start using, but because small children swallow this paste, they should be educated about the right amount of paste that they need to use according to the age. They have to customize the usage of the amount of paste that they are using plays an important role. This will be covered under plaque control measures actually. And young children, they can also be indicated about this child formula dentifrices, which are specially manufactured for children. They will be having very low fluoride content, that is below, almost all the paste will be below 500 ppm. So they can be educated about the usage of even child formula dentifrices. Coming to the quality of life of children with ECC, definitely it will be compromised because of the poor oral health. So main things that play a role in decreasing the quality of life of children are the toothaches, having trouble eating certain foods, missing school, difficulty to brush their teeth, frequent episodes of fever, cough and cold, and the self-image of a child which will be compromised can also decrease the quality or affect the quality of life of children with ECC. And coming to the other methods of preventive measures for ECC, there are actually four summarized in the textbook, that is glycyrrhiza and stamps, that is specifically targeted antimicrobial peptides, and flavored chlorhexidine gels, and silver diamond fluoride. Of these, first one, that is licorice or the glycyrrhiza, it's nothing but Thimaduram, which will be available in this homeopathy stores. So this licorice, so many studies are there. They can be used in many forms like lollipops, chewing gums, and etc. This licorice has been documented as a substance which can reduce the count of Streptococcus mutans, and specifically targeted antimicrobial peptides. They specifically target Streptococcus mutans, and once they get fused to Streptococcus mutans, they kill the bacteria almost instantly without affecting any other non-karyogenic oral bacteria. And this silver diamond fluoride, this is also documented to have a beneficial effect in delaying the caries progression in children who can't be treated in a regular dental setup, and who are not willing for general anesthesia. They can be treated with the silver diamond fluoride, which will delay the caries progression. This completes this early childhood caries. This, if you get it as an essay question, so the headings are very important. So you have to start with general introduction and then definition of ECC, which is very important, even asked in Viva. Then you have to give a overview of UCC, etiology of early childhood caries. You have to write a note about window of infectivity, then clinical features, how they will be, and staging of ECC, that is very mild, moderate, and severe. And the treatment or management of these cases based on the staging itself, that is very mild case, how you have to treat them, mild cases how, and moderate and severe cases how you have to manage these things. And then the how to prevent this condition is very important. So preventive measures on a community basis, professional basis, and even day-to-day home care methods you need to focus on. Then quality of life of children with ECC and other methods for preventing this ECC. This completes the chapter early childhood